Hello everybody and welcome to the WildWeiler Weekly Wrap. As always, I am WildWeiler. I went to Dollywood. It was pretty awesome. For those of you that don't know, Dollywood is Dolly Parton's theme park, themed after Dolly Parton, sort of, but we'll get into that. It's nestled in the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. Not the mountains that are smoking, they're just called the Smoky Mountains. And, it's first class. It's really good stuff. Dollywood itself is basically everything I personally want from a theme park or amusement park, which is to say it is 50-50 really cool rides and really cool attractions, meaning that you can wait in line for a ride, do the ride, and then go see a literal dog and pony show, and then get back in line, and then do a ride, and then literally make a knife. Like, it's amazing. I made a knife. I hit hot metal with a hammer. Everybody needs to do that. Plus, like all good amusement parks, Dollywood has a train. The Dollywood Express. Now, the Dollywood Express is a 7-carriage train pulled by one of 2 steam locomotives. WPR number 70, Cinderella, and WPR number 192, Klondike Katy. Now, supposedly, there is a 3rd locomotive. WPR is number 71, Beatrice, but I didn't see it. We drove by the train barn. It's not there. According to Wikipedia, it is down for renovation, but the person doing the train tour thing, the conductor, that's his name. I remember train words. They mentioned that, like, they didn't mention Beatrice. So what happened to Beatrice? Release the Beatrice files. Anyways, it was good. It's a good train ride. You go on a big old loop. It's better than a lot of train rides I've gone to on theme parks. And better than most train rides I've been on. Unfortunately, the Dollywood Express has caused a crisis of conscience within me. Which is to say, they have kept their engines in, let's say, pristine order, if you will. Which means they are coal-fired. Which means that while we were riding the train, A, we were getting covered in soot and ash because coal trains are gross, but B, and this is crucial, they mentioned that they burn 5 tons of coal a day. That's not good. Like Dolly, I love you, but that's not good. That is 5 tons of coal per day. And it did not make me feel good, friends. I felt like Picard felt in the Star Trek The Next Generation episode where they learn warp drives are just shredding the universe. For those of you that don't know, that is Season 7, Episode 9, Force of Nature. Anyways, as we were riding the train, I also noticed that they store the pile of coal next to a creek. I'm really disappointed. I'm gonna be honest, that was all really hard for me. Like, trains, historic trains, working and running is problematic environmentally. Don't get me wrong. But at the very least, we could convert them to wood fire or natural gas or something that isn't freaking coal and then not store the freaking coal, next to a creek. So, that was hard. It was. The good news is Dollywood is tasteful itself. Like, the whole park, very tasteful tribute to one of the most prolific modern musical artists. It would really be easy for it to become cynical and gross and nasty, and it's not. The Dolly Parton stuff is perfectly, subtle in the areas where it's subtle, and then there's sort of this area where it's like, oh, here's the Dollywood experience, here's the Dollywood, theater, the Dolly-themed theater, and her bus. That area is really self-contained, and it's not like her face is everywhere, which is nice. It is nice. It is a good park with good rides and good attractions. I honestly would recommend Dollywood to anybody who likes theme parks. Getting there is a bit of a pain, but, that's life. Anyways, everything was good and perfect, and I had a lot of fun, and I now have to think about some of my interests. But, life is challenging, so I'm glad for the experience, and that's that. How can I talk about Dollywood, though, without mentioning the weird rural Las Vegas it shares a zip code with, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Yeah, that's right. We have to talk about Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Pigeon Forge has endless family attractions. It is weird. It is just a weird-ass place. It is definitely Las Vegas, but rather than casinos, it's mini golf. And if you aren't thinking that I'm being serious, you are wrong, sir. You are wrong, madam. You are wrong, friend beyond the binary. You're wrong. Here are some of the mini golf courses you can go to in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. The Crave Golf Club, Fantasy Golf, Black Life Mini Golf at Laserport Fun Center, Professor Hacker's Lost Treasure Golf, Safari Golf at the Track, Sky Pirates of Mermaid Bay, an epic golf adventure, Toy Box Mini Golf, and Lost Mine Mountain Coaster and Mini Golf. That's 8. And that is not all of them, and that is not all of them right outside of Pigeon Forge, too. It is insane. The place I grew up in had, like, 10 times the population of Pigeon Forge, and the nearest mini golf course was 45 minutes away. So, I don't know what's going on there, but I already know what you're thinking, and I know what you're asking yourselves. But Wild, mini golf is great, but are there, like, dinner shows that I could go to after a long day of mini golfing? Yes, there are. Here's 5. And once again, trust me, there are way more than 5. Okay, we have Dolly Parton Stampede, Hatfield and McCoy Dinner Show, Pirates Voyage Dinner and Show, Biblical Times Dinner Theater, and Paula Dean's Lumberjack Feud Supper Show. So in case you were wondering, yes, that's what Paula Dean is doing. I'm pretty sure she's there. I wasn't kidding when I said Pigeon Forge, Tennessee was the Las Vegas of Tennessee. And in case you have any remaining doubts for that, here's the picture I found on their tourism website of the place lit up like the Strip at night. So, yeah, Pigeon Forge is weird. Pigeon Forge is just bonkers. You should see it. Upon getting back from my trip, I clearly needed to cool down for a moment, if that wasn't obvious. So I went to Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm not a huge fan of superhero movies. I think I've said that. But this is a good one. This is a really good one. Everything's right. It's well-paced. The threat level is correct. They do this thing where they get you up to speed about the Fantastic Four in the first, 5-10 minutes of the movie without us having to do Fantastic Four, origins, the beginning of space, part 1, the Ukrinsky Files, part 2, Infinity Avengers. They don't do that, which is nice. And somebody type all that out in the comments, because I'm not going to listen to this again. Anyways, this movie is so good that when Dairy Queen finds out about it, they're going to serve a frozen treat that's just 4 dozen whipped eggs in a cup. And they're going to give that to you. And they're going to call it, the Fantastic Four frozen egg cream dessert-style custard. Or something like dessert-style custard blizzard. There we go. And yeah, it's a good movie in all seriousness. You don't need to necessarily see it in theaters, though. There's nothing that's really effects-wise drawing to the theaters. And to be honest, there's a lot of effects that do not make it out of the uncanny valley, and you will be saved by not having seen them jump scare you on the big screen. I give Fantastic Four First Steps a 6 out of 10. That does it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully things are getting back to normal here, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. That does it for this week. Thank you all for watching. What was that? Oh, whoa, okay. Unfortunately, the Dollywood Express has caused a bit of crisis of consciousness